Let's turn our attention to Kenya, where in Nairobi, the capital, the family of 24-year-old street vendor Boniface Kairuki says he is now brain dead, days after he was shot at close range by police during a protest. Doctors say a bullet fragment is still lodged in his brain. His family, now dealing with rising medical bills, is calling for justice. Mr. Boniface was protesting the alleged police killing of teacher and blogger Albert Ojwang when the shooting happened. The moment caught on camera sparked national outrage. Two officers are now in custody as investigations continue. One of them, a young recruit, reportedly fired the fatal shot. The family is appealing for help with hospital bills that have now topped 3 million shillings and for answers. Let's turn our attention back to Kenya, where protests are still ongoing. There are claims of police brutality. I'm joined by Charles Yakubo, the Senior Coordinator, African Student for Liberty, joins me from Nairobi, Kenya. Good to have you join us on the world now. During this recent protest by these young Kenyans, we see that the media was banned from reporting live. Observers have called it a dangerous precedent. But talk to us about what's going on ground now.
Thank you for having me. Actually, we lost Boniface yesterday. He succumbed to the injuries that he sustained as a result of the gunshots that he had during the protest. So the situation at the moment is quite heartbreaking and really defining for our republic. You know, an unarmed 20-year-old hawker is being shot on a very broad daylight while walking away. Just a mask seller really signals a collapse on our law enforcement culture. And of course, it shows constitutional promises that we had of dignity of life, peaceful protest being eroded. And this erosion is not by criminals, but by state agents that, of course, sought to protect our people, maintain law and order. So this is not just about Boniface or about Albert Ojwang that also was killed in police custody, but it's just about the soul of Kenyans and whether we still uphold the rule of law or we uphold the rule of fear. So the situation is, as much as right now people are calm, but of course the fear is palpable and the pain can be felt across the nation.
It's not just about police brutalities like you also, talked about. There is also the concern about abduction of government critics. More than 60 deaths linked to brutality. Why does it seem like history is repeating itself in Kenya? And it seems this has evolved into something much bigger.
Yes, you are quite right. We are seeing enforced disappearance. And, it was believed that police cells are safe places. But today, police cells are becoming are now crime scenes. Of course, we all know about the death of Albert Ojwang in police custody. And these are just, in my view, are just signals. There is a deep policy hole that needs to be addressed. Police reforms needs to be not just on paper, but should be implemented. Things that are pro-people. Before our Constitution 2010, of course, following the 207 post-election violence that really left many people dead. And of course, we saw the police excesses during that time. The police force was converted to police service. So we expect professionals, not rogue people whose only claim to fame is just to cause harm and, kill people. When even in cases of, let's say, use of firearms, it is very clear in our acts that police officers must act with a lot of restraint. Arrest those people that you feel are violating the law, and of course, take them to court. We have courts of competent jurisdiction. And if that is not happening, then of course, we are slowly sliding to anarchy. And that is something that we don't precedent, especially in the current situation and the current constitution that we have. So we are calling for complete overhaul of the entire police system and, of course, reform through a way that at least everything should be pro-people. not really focusing on just political scores that we are seeing being scored ahead of the polls that we have in 2 years' time. So it's quite devastating, but of course we are still having clamor for justice across the nation among the young people.
I'm wondering how much of a threat this poses to the current government. The majority of these protesters are from Generation Z, born in the late 90s to early 2000s. This particular age group have been characterized for being defiant. But when you look at this protest in a bigger picture, how big of a threat do you think this poses to the current government?
It is a big threat because majority of the voters and majority of the population are the young people. And these are the people who also have the energy. They have more learned, we have internet, and we have everything that we need to get all the information that we require as a people. So unlike in those early years during the clamor for multi-party democracy and of course independence, this time these are elite people, people who you cannot just lie to, you cannot cheat them and lure them into anything. So the government is a bit threatened because even if you switch off the media like it was done on 25th, still people were still able to stream live using their phones. People were still able to push to TikTok and all that, and the world was able to be informed. So the government feels a bit threatened because majority of the people, as I've said, are of course the young generation, and we are also getting support from the millennials and the other generations, because the current administration, of course, the economic situation, the unemployment rate, and the usual corruption, these are the things that really exacerbate the situations and make the young people really go to the street to demand for better governance, accountability, and of course justice for those that were killed in the previous protest. So it's a real threat, and that's why the government is not really taking it slow for anybody who dare to challenge or post something that is against the government, against the constitution, but we are still pushing for more accountability and reforms. Yes. So
there is a recent video going around on social media about the Interior Cabinet Secretary kind of endorsing the use of force on protesters. I would like you to react to that, but just give us a minute. We would like to go on a short break. You're still watching The World. Thank you for staying with us on The World Now. We're staying on the Kenya protest, which has sparked a lot of reactions around the world. There are allegations of police brutality. I still have with me Charles Nyakubo, is the Senior Coordinator, African Student for Liberty. Mr. Nyakubo, it's good to have you, join us. So right before the break, I was asking about a recent video going around about the Interior Cabinet Secretary who was perceived to endorse the use of force against protesters. How are Kenyans reacting to this? And why does it seem like lawmakers are trying to secure these proposals despite outcry?
Now, Kenyans are not taking that very lightly. It has been condemned both by the opposition and, of course, the government, those who are in the ruling class. The statement from where we sit is quite reckless and very unfortunate. Police have no right, both in our constitution and in the international law, to shoot anyone. If there is threats, of course, if there is protest, which our constitution allows us for peaceful protest, those who are involved should be arrested and, of course, charged. And as I've said, we have courts of competent jurisdiction. So to the extent that our cabinet secretary proposes a shoot on sight or shoot to kill, that was quite out of the line. He's trying to say that his words were taken out of context, but we know that he really meant what he was saying. But that has been disowned both by the police and, of course, by the citizens themselves.
Senior Coordinator, African Student for Liberty, Charles Nyakubo. Thank you for talking to us at this time.